The kids are where?
Downstairs.
Hey man, hi. Sorry, I know he talked to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to you as well, okay?
Okay.
Just kind of want to give me a quick rundown of
Yeah, sometimes
what
multiple
exactly took place
cops will
tonight
talk to
and
people to see if
why
there's
we are
like
here.
their story
Yeah.
changes, there's holes in the story.
He was trying to take the kids after I was looking for his phone because he's been sending like text messages about me to his family. And then we just got into a scuffle at the door. He was trying to leave with them, and I didn't want him to leave with them.
So he was trying to take the kids after he refused to show you his phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is so common. The phones are often characters in the story of an argument, and the kids are also being used as a pawn here as well, or being removed for safety. Who knows? We're making assumptions about this. So what I'm kind of seeing is some minimization. She's saying a scuffle. Anytime people use language that makes things seem like, oh, it was just a slight disagreement or scuffle, and that's a red flag. So I'm getting some DARVO, which is deny attack and then reverse victim and offender here, which, maybe is fair. We don't have a lot of context other than, there was a domestic and there's kids and he wouldn't show her the phone. So what I'm guessing is she did something that didn't make him happy, or there was an argument about something, and she was sort of doing this um, impression management where essentially we worried about our reputation. So we try to mitigate any bad information about our reputation. So in this case, he was texting, I think, his family, they said, about her. So she's trying to do that impression management. And then what he may be doing is this triangulation, where you're having an argument with somebody else at work or at home, and essentially try to bring in like a third party to, help influence or put pressure on that other person to sort of influence their behavior. So I'm curious what happens next year, though. If it's something different, maybe, than
Okay.
And I woke
scuffle.
up I have a bunch of work, so I woke up. I was like, I'm just gonna work. And he's like, you're waking everyone up. I'm like, I'm not waking everyone up. And then he's like, I'm taking the kids. So,
Okay. Did you
Okay.
put your hands on him at any point in time tonight?
yeah.
And
Okay, she just
where did
admitted.
you put your hands on him?
I don't know. Like, we were just scuffling at the door.
Yeah, look at her body language. She's like, oh snap.
Has this been an ongoing
Shouldn't
issue
have said
between you
that.
guys?
Yep.
I'm
And
curious what his side
I have
is.
proof
The
of all of
guy's
it, so I can show you.
husband, I'm assuming.
When did you get those?
A couple days ago.
Guess there's alleged
Using on
domestic
your right
physical
arm.
stuff
Yep.
a few days ago.
Arms on my head.
And how did?
That's from like physical altercation with him.
Do you have any videos of?
No, I don't take videos. That's him.
Okay, so she has bruises from a few days ago.
Okay.
He has videos of her doing something.
So, where we kind of stand right now is usually at
Pen
some
got
point in time
clicked,
somebody
pen went
like,
away,
during domestics, right?
they made a
like,
call.
Things get physical, things get violent, right?
Right.
From our perspective, as of right now, it again, this is just from our perspective. This isn't set in stone. This is anything. It appears like you being the aggressor, just because of the videos, right? I know you have the bruises and all that, but it kind of puts us.
Has he arrested a
Yeah,
woman
I mean, you don't
before
have to put-
for domestic violence?
He's literally just, like, I know you're probably Italian. He's the most dramatic Italian man I've ever met.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
What does that mean?
So the most likely outcome is you're going to end up coming with us
The Italian?
Tonight?
What does that
Yes.
mean?
Why?
because you put your hands on him and you were
stereotype.
choking him.
Yeah, she was choking
And
him.
we have he has
Okay.
multiple videos of it to support all these claims that he's making. Now you have the bruises, right?
Yeah.
But I mean that's in situations like this when things like this happen. I know you guys don't want to get us involved, but like
Yeah.
the best thing to do is to get us involved, so that now we could take stories from both sides.
Okay. I feel kind of bad. Maybe this cop's know her, but like his colleagues in the background are kind of like Spit it out, dude. You know, okay, so a couple really quick things here before we watch more. So, in states with mandated arrest policies, which is a statute or a law that says in a domestic call, someone's going to jail. The cops have the obligation, they must arrest somebody. Sometimes cops don't arrest somebody in a mandated arrest state. They're supposed to, though. But in those states, we see from the research, we know more men and women, or a husband and wife, or both partners, both get arrested for like mutual combat. You know, it's a he said, she said, they said, whatever. And she has bruises. He has a video of her choking him, multiple videos, it seems. So usually, what cops sometimes do, and it's not a good thing, is they'll arrest both people. I can't tell who's lying. I'm going to arrest both of you, and you can figure it out in court. And it doesn't really work well, especially for the victim of a longer kind of period of coercive control, where you're sort of being controlled and abused, and then you stand up for yourself for at the ninth hour, and then you get arrested for it. So there's a lot of unintended consequences of mandated arrest, and we know from the research too that in states with mandated arrest, the rates of spousal homicide, so a husband typically killing his wife, are actually higher in those states versus states that have suggested arrest for officers where they can use more discretion. But this cop, I'm kind of tilting my head like his colleagues are, and he's really trying to be gentle about saying I'm going to arrest you, but it's coming off kind of, and she's sort of calling him out for being Italian. I'm not sure what that's about, but
That's right.
that's kind
I
of
know,
weird.
but this is insanity. I just want it to be on record, so when we get divorced.
Well, it will be on record. That this all will be on record because we're going to do a report of this. But if this is the only time you guys called, there's only going to be just the one incident.
Okay.
You know what I'm
is there
saying?
any way that I don't have to be called?
Not tonight, no.
Yeah, so they're in a mandated arrest
Okay.
state, I bet you.
So, out of the dignity for you, I know your kids are around.
Sounds like Midwest.
We're going to put your shoes on. We're not going to put your cuffs on until we get outside,
I don't.
okay?
I can't even believe it.
That's good.
This is insanity. I'm literally.
Just don't let her. Now, you want your phone? Do you want your phone?
I'm glad they're not doing it in front of the kids. That's a good call.
Don't let her go upstairs.
I can get my shoes.
We can go get them. We can go.
Oh.
Okay.
I have your phone.
What kind of shoes are they?
I don't know. They're my. It doesn't. I don't know. They're my closet. Like
What else
my
do you...
Bro, I have the.
I'm just watching the cops' faces. I'm kind of curious what their thoughts are
I
on
just wrote
this.
down his ID number. What's your husband's name?
Ryan. He's a.
Ryan.
You could just call him that.
What's that?
She has shoes, Chad.
She's got shoes.
All right, let's go step outside. I have your phone and all this. Let's not make it a big deal, a big scene in front of your kids, okay?
I wonder if there's
Is my
more
brother
footage
home?
before this. I'm trying to dig it
I'm
up.
not too sure.
He's not outside. He's upstairs.
No, he owns like 20 guns. He's insane.
He's not armed. There's any guns here.
I mean, you don't know that. I do.
So we're just gonna walk to the car straight ahead.
Okay, that's
Like I said,
red
we're not gonna do
flag, but-
anything until. Let's go.
seems like she's kind of grasping at straws, but at the same
over
time,
here. I have a single cage car, so it's gonna be on the other side. So let's walk around to the other side. Once we get there, right here, just put your hands on your back, please. Not too tight, right? Good. It's just the seatbelt.
Like, what?
Sit back.
That's insane.
You know.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts here. We're only privy to one side of the story. I mean, and based on what we're seeing, I have some doubts, and it sounds like the cops had some doubts, but those videos the guy had must have been pretty damning if, they're taking this step, and it seems like the officer here was pretty hesitant to do so. And that the house in the background there looks pretty affluent, so probably in a more upscale neighborhood too. So there's the class can also play a part into an officer's likelihood to arrest somebody as well. And I'll put some research links to my thoughts here in the description, by the way. So I'm curious what those videos showed, and I'm curious if there wasn't maybe a history here or what the allegations that he was kind of tarnishing or attacking her reputation about to his family. So and then there's the firearms as well. But again, in these, states with mandatory arrest, when both people get arrested, that can cause problems. But in this case, she was just arrested. So it's very possible she was the abusive, domestically violent person. And he recorded that situation for his own sort of defense because he felt the officers would not believe him, or he was trying to gather evidence, or maybe it all is just one side of the story and the officers are just taking his word because he has videos on his phone and she does not. So that's problematic potentially as well. So I'm hoping in court the truth comes out as well. And then the last comment she made about the firearms. So firearms, domestic violence are a big deal. So the women who are murdered are in the United States are murdered by their husbands more often than strangers or other social connections, and it's via firearms as well. So what might happen here, and does happen depending on the state, is it'll go to court. She might bring up the guns to the judge, and then the judge, depending on the state, needs to confiscate those firearms while that kind of risk is there with that open domestic violence allegations, because I'm sure there'll be charges kind of maybe thrown at both folks after the bruising and maybe some more testimony and evidence is gathered. But sometimes what happens, depending on the state, there's one study done that I think it's North Carolina, where they did a study basically auditing whether or not judges took away firearms or not in cases. And in North Carolina, it is North Carolina, you have to take their firearms away in a domestic violence case. And they found in the study, although there's statutes saying judges must take the firearms away from people who have domestic violence allegations and there's a risk there, they found that it was 60%, 60 or so percent of the time, judges did not confiscate those firearms. And that's a really real threat for her in terms of if, again, we have limited context here and I'm making assumptions, if he decides to use those firearms or she decides maybe to use those firearms and sort of is for retaliation for this police call in this scenario. So not a good situation. And I'm, again, curious about the other side of the story. But from what we have here, it seems like there's must have been some damning videos taken by him. And that's all, folks. Thank you for watching. I want to thank all my subscribers. I have over 100 people subscribed, which is just crazy for me to think about. So I really appreciate that support. I invite you to subscribe as well if you're watching this and you are not already. Let me know in the comments, though, your perspective on this one, because, again, we get kind of a limited one-side view. So I'm curious if there are details that I missed. I'm going to kind of go back and watch this and probably change my mind about things, but I'm curious what your thoughts are reviewing this video as well. So let me know in the comments your thoughts, and I appreciate your watching. Toodles.